Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions league, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around, always talking Spurs wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The predictions league, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel.
Yep.
It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tell Cockerel. Don't know what episode it is, got lost in translation many moons ago. But it's Jose and Chang from Tottenham. Good evening, Mr. Chang. How are you, sir?
Doing very well here in Southeast Asia. Garcia just had an early dinner before 6 p.m. or rather before 10 a.m. British time, and absolutely looking forward to today's double header. This is a heads up for anyone who's just only tuning in or listening in later before the away game against Forest. Me and Senor Garcia, we have a double header today, a back-to-back shows. This is the first of the two, the other one being the pre-match pump-up in about 2 hours' time. So absolutely looking forward to today's festivities and fixtures. And without further ado, it's straight back to you, FA.
Let me just say, double header or not, I'm taking a break. So we do this normal show, but We Are Tottenham TV have asked me to host today, and Chang is one of my guests today. So we will be going again at 12:30 UK time for the pre-pump up on We Are Tottenham TV. But for the time being, we need to get our show on the road, up and running and going. Let me say good morning to a few people. We've got Shemtowns here. Says, good morning, Mr. Bossman. How's that? The youngest looking. Oh, man, Mr. Jimmy Chang, our Southeast Asia correspondent. Hope you're both doing well this morning. Thank you very much, Shem. We are. I hope you are well. Tigaro, member for 15 months. Thank you very much for your support. Tigaro says, hi all, it's been a while. Hope you're all well. Come on, you Spurs. Yes, Tigaro, we are. I wish you and your world, you're very well as well. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks that I've not seen you. But I hope you are well as well, mate, and enjoying your summer out there. Wayne Bonner says, good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well and having a great weekend. 4-0 Spurs today. Come on, you Spurs. Wayne, if you're still with us, you missed the predictions again this week, mate, but you still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's still 6 games. You've got 5 games today, Wayne, if you want to do that. And you've also got tomorrow night's game. So you've still got 6 games if you want to partake. Just put a notification bell on, Wayne, and you'll know when we're on. I was saying, as the intro was going on, I said, good morning, you lovely lot, to the people that we've got here. Queen Els Bells is here. Says, good morning, Jose. Mr. Chang, much love. Good morning, Queen Ellie. Changes her name all the time. Ellie 5, Ellie, Queen Ellie. You've got the Hoiberg and the 15 other names that go with it. But I hope you're well. Donna Cullen's here. Says Wagwan, Senor Jose, and Wagwan, Mr. Chang. Good morning to you, Donna. I hope you're well. Daniel Sandoval. Man, it's been a minute since we saw Daniel. Daniel, I espero que todo esté bien. I hope you are well, Daniel. Nice to see you, sir. I believe this is Corey. Corey's here. Good morning, Corey, mate. I hope you're... Yeah, it is Corey. Look, I've got a photograph of him there. It's Corey. I hope you're well, Corey. Says big up. Well, good morning to you, Corey. As I said, I hope you and your son are well, mate. Shem Tam flexing his 12-month member badge. Thank you very much for your support, Shem Tam. Says, come on, you Spurs. Thanks for all you do, Mr. Jose and Mr. Chang. Thank you. Wayne Bonner says 4-0 for Spurs, 2-1 wins for the other home games, no worries at all. Dillisto is here, says, sup, guys? Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, Dillisto, wherever you may be, but thank you for being here. And Wayne says, I always have my notification bell on permanently. Got other things going on, so keep missing the shows. Fair enough. As long as you're a busy man, Wayne, in the right way, that's absolutely brilliant, Wayne. And Miss Els Bells has come in with, there's only one Eltel Cockerel though, Jose. I'm the lady of many names. Yes, you certainly are. Chang, we need to start with, since the last show last week, we only had one game of football, and that was during the week against Slavia Prague. So, because we talk between Sunday and Sunday, our shows, the only real thing we can talk about at the moment for Tottenham is the result against Slavia, and then we need to watch. And then we have to discuss anything else that's been going on in the world of football, and then we go on to today, which we will touch upon today because our show was already set up. Although knowing that we're going to do the pre-match pump up later, what are your thoughts on the Slavia game, Chang?
I thought we could have scored a lot more goals from open play. The first minute, or rather the first 40 seconds of that first half at home against Slavia Prague was, I think, the best possible opportunity for Richarlison to get an early goal to set the tone. But despite their keeper, despite the opposition keeper having an absolute blinder of a game, we still managed to score the goals. Yes, no doubt there was an element of fortune from the own goal scored by their defender via a header, via a corner. But take nothing away from the performance of the players. I thought that was a complete performance from all the players. If memory serves me right, I think Xavi Simons has just been awarded yet another Man of the Match. I think that makes it 2 back-to-back Man of the Match awards for Xavi Simons, following up from that home win against Brentford last Saturday. And I mean, penalties are penalties, regardless of how you may look at it. We were rather unjustly penalized against Newcastle, that penalty away on our travels. But for this game against Slavia Prague, the second half, well done to Kudus. He was able to follow up with his aborted celebrations from Saturday when his goal against Brentford was ruled out. This time, it was there was no mistake for the from the penalty spot for Mohamed Kudus, and I think he's found a new celebration. He's found a new celebration of getting one stool for himself, and whichever player, whichever player surrounding him, if they can find stools themselves, then they would, they will do the pose with him on stools. That's good to see the camaraderie between the players. And then Javi Simon wrapped up the 3 goals and the 3 points with the second of 2 penalties. This one was rather fortuitous, if you ask me. The keeper got a hand for it, but it still managed to creep in. And I think the highlight, for me, the biggest highlight was seeing Sonny back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You could see how he was so well received by his former teammates and also the fans in the stadium alike. And let's just hope that 2 wins in two clean sheets in two, 5 goals between those 2 games between Brentford and Southampton. Let's see if we can keep that momentum going later on this afternoon. And without further ado, I think it's straight back to you, Jose.
So what I took from the game. Let me just start saying it again a minute. So Corey's saying he's all good, and that he's watching us. He's watching us while he's playing Football Manager, and he's got Eastbourne to the Premiership. So that's I think that's Eastbourne Borough rather than Eastbourne Town. If you've done Town rather than Borough, that's even more leagues you've got to go through. But I wonder how you did that. Enjoy. Ellie says she's going to tune into us afterwards. Thank you very much. Wayne Bonner's saying, what injury did a doggy pick up? He picked up a muscle injury, I believe, in the previous game, and he's out till January. And then you've got Corey's then saying that he's also buzzing for his nephew as he played his first match for Brighton elite youth team and got noticed in goal. Fantastic news. James, who's been a member for 14 months, thank you for your support, James, says, big up Jose and Chang. Good morning to you, James, sir. I hope you are well. Look who it is. It's our friendly resident. It's Vindaloo. Hopefully Vindaloo's sober today. I can't ever tell when he's sober or when he's pissed. He just seems to be drinking all the time. But I hope you are well, Vinders, mate. I hope you're well. So, sorry. Moving on back to the game, Chang. For me, it wasn't the most polished performance for me. There were holes. There were gaps. There's a lot more that we could have done well, I think. Their goalkeeper, you're right, did have a blind down, but you can only play what's in front of you. Now, I'd rather be playing the way that we're playing, where you just got to coach that little bit more, than a whole factory reset where you're playing really, really badly and there's a rut and you can't get out of it, because that's going to be a lot harder to coach. But doing the right things more often will help the team, will benefit the players, and benefit us, all of us going forward. And I think we're on the right track. The last few games we've played, so we drew with Newcastle 2-2. When we beat Brentford 2-0, now we've beaten Slavia 3-0. So we've scored 7, conceded 2. So we're starting to score goals. Xavi is getting more into games now. Kudos is his own self. Kudos is a beast. Players are playing better, right? But there's still more that needs to be done with the players that we've got. Forget transfer windows. With the players that we've got, there's still more that needs to be done. But I'm happier if we've got a blank canvas to start from, Chang. Then I'm happy with this canvas at the moment because you can brighten this canvas up. Yeah, it's not a dull canvas as it was, about a month ago when we were thinking, scratching our heads, and no, all this XG and business like that. Well, we seem to have turned a corner. Do you think the turning of the corner is where the players are starting to get to know each other? Is it because of the team selections that he's making? Are people forging relationships? What is it that's made us change in the last 3 games?
I would say that this actually boils down to the strategy that Thomas Frank has employed the last three games, starting with Newcastle away. He has seen to it that being a bit too defensive minded might not be the best way going forward. That the best form of defense is offense. Sounds very cliche, I know, but I mean it's been working well to that effect. And more of the same, please, more of the same. If the players find it easier to what do you call this, gel when they are in cohesion, or rather when they are in sync with each other, especially going forward, I think this is only going to benefit us in a long run. And the sooner Solanke gets back, the better, because then we will be able to fully rotate the trio of Polo Moani, Richarlison, and Solanke. That's something to look forward to as well. And yeah, even the substitutions for that matter, the substitutions that Thomas Frank is making during the game, I think that's helping us a lot, freshen things up, getting players ready for the next match. That in itself is also helping the team morale, keeping things fresh. But also at the same time, I think this is very important as well. It's keeping all of the players on their toes because they know now there is a proper competition for places. None of them can be complacent. I'm sure we might touch on Bissouma much later on. The video that went viral, especially and the follow up apology video from him. But I have to go back to what I said earlier with regards to competition for places. There is a very very real sense that none of these players are guaranteed surefire starters, not even Vicario for that matter. If he starts slipping up again, well, Kinski is there, ready to put on his gloves and put on a job. But yeah, I think this is what we really need: competition for places, a proper strategy going forward, trying to attack the opposition rather than sit back and soaking up pressure and only doing the attacking once we fall behind. And last but not least, yeah, the substitutions. May they happen a whole lot sooner so that they may affect proceedings rather than in the dying embers of the game where it's far too late to want to do anything about it. Having said that, back to you, Senor Garcia.
Chang, sorry, Corey saying Eastbourne Borough. Yeah, it's been fun. As fun saying it's been take loads of trial players in, sign the good ones, have a good tactical knowledge of the engine, and off you go. Enjoy your game. Tigaro says Xavi is a kid growing up in a very hard league. Give him time. The base is there. True, true, true. Queen Ellie says we were best versus Brentford by far. Avinda says I hope you do well later. It would break my heart if you lost. Well, I think your heart was in your mouth yesterday, Vinders, for your game. Your heart was in your mouth. Talk about being rubbish. I didn't watch the game, but I looked at the stats, and I think you had 16 attempts on goal, 1 on target, which tells me everything I need to know about boring. Yeah, I know you know the rest of it, how it goes, because you sing it yourself, Vinders. Boring, and you sing the rest yourself. Queen Ellie is speaking to Tavares, says, big up our wonderful Aussie pal. Yeah, Chevy is young but has lots of matches under his belt, so we bought well with him. James is coming in because James, I think, did the pump up show on Jesse's channel yesterday, and I heard the commentary, and James is saying lucky FC yesterday. There we go. You've got Gunners will win by none of their players scoring. It's the first time. So Wolves won 3-0 yesterday because all 3 goals came from Wolves players. And Vinders said, must admit, I was holding on to the crown jewels towards the end. I bet you were, mate. I bet you were. But like I said, I mean, I'm commenting on what I saw stat wise because I went to visit my mum yesterday in London, so I didn't see any of the football. I looked at the stats. I looked at the final score and the stats on BBC, I think it was, and that's where I saw it. And I was rather surprised because, you know, for all intents and purposes, we all thought, or the majority of the world would have thought, that Wolves were there for a pummeling, and it didn't quite transpire that way. So, but I've been told by many a person, and I didn't watch the game, Vinders, but I've been told that Gokaris looks world class, is what I've been told. I've been told he's an absolute, he's a steal, and I've been told that that so many clubs should have gone in for him and bought him, and that they're really gutted that they didn't because he looks $1 million. But that's all I've heard from people. So, and that's from Arsenal supporters as well. But there we go. Luke Skywalker's here and says, some say 3 points and life goes on. True. Nice to see you, Luke Skywalker. R1.99. Not seen you before, but nice to see you. Welcome. Good morning to you. Yeah, going back to the Tottenham thing, it's interesting because I think, am I right in saying, Chang, that after today we play Liverpool next, so it'll be the first time that we haven't had a midweek game in a long time. So therefore, it then means that this will be the first week that Thomas Frank will be at. When they're playing back-to-back games every 3 days, you can't train. You can't do the training sessions that you want to put on because you've got to have the recovery time and that. But if you've got a whole week, then you can implement and do a lot more with the players. So it'll be the first week that he's going to be able to do a bit with a team that he's not been able to do in a while. And, we can see we should be able to see the benefits of that going on to the Liverpool game and beyond, I would have thought. So, but for me, for me, I like what I saw, or I like what I've seen recently. No way to finish the article. There's still holes. There's still things that we need to plan. But I think selection for me, Chang, is crucial. I think the rotation sometimes is excessive. So you need to slow the rotation down and build the partnerships within the players that you've got playing. And then also have players that come off your bench, the finishers, if you like, Chang, that come off the bench and don't lower the levels, so to speak. So if anything, the people that come off the bench are same level or provide more energy for when they come on. But yeah, what I've seen in the last 3 games is totally different to where we were a month ago, Chad. And as I said, for me, it's a lot about team selection. I mean, it's interesting. Did you hear the Thomas Frank pre-match show that he did when he speaks to the media?
I've yet to hear that. I might catch you up a bit on that before we do our pre-match pump up. I just only saw the injury update on Friday, but unfortunately, I didn't get to listen to his media pre-match preview. But I will do some catching up on that before our pre-match pump up later.
Okay, so what he did, he was asked a question. I can't remember how the question was phrased to him, but he was asked a question with regards players stepping up, and the players that he mentioned, right, which is quite telling for me. The players that he mentioned were, he talked about Xavi Simons, learning patterns of play, getting more time, likes him in the position that he was playing and stuff like that. Spoke about Kudus being on fire at the start of the season, having his injury, and then Kudus coming back, and he's coming back to himself again now, and that he was an absolute monster. He's coming to where he was before. And he also talked about Richarlison. Richarlison was the third person that he mentioned. So he mentioned the 3 players, and he talked about Richarlison, and he talked about his hurrying, and that his fitness has gone up and stuff like that. So they're the 3 players he mainly talked about. But for me, yeah, it's fine to talk about them 3, but I think Jed Spence has been a revelation in the system that he's picked, whereby, this is from Brentford, it wasn't at Newcastle game, but from Brentford onwards, where our fullbacks attack beyond our wingers. We did that against Slavia, we did that against Brentford, and Spence looked absolutely revolutionised. I think Archie Gray didn't get mentioned. Did he? No, I tell you what, he did mention Archie Gray, because he was asked about, you wanted to buy Archie Gray in for Brent when he was at Brentford. What's he like? What's he been like? Blah blah. And he says he likes the way that Archie plays. Is what he said. So but for me, there's some players that he mentioned, and it's because that's the way it was phrased and framed to him, the question. But there's a lot of positives to take from a lot of these players, and they're not. And I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, we're the finished article. That's Tottenham done and dusted. That's our level. Our levels can go up, but you've got to be, like anything, you've got to give it time. It's interesting, right, Chang? Because I spoke to someone on Friday, right, because I play football. And I spoke to someone on Friday, a Scottish fella, and he supports Celtic. And Celtic had just been pumped the day before in the Europa League 3-0 at home. And they got this new manager. And he was saying to me, it's the first time, in his Scottish accent, it's the first time any Celtic managers lost their first 2 games, blah, blah, blah. And he was saying, that Celtic, you can see that they're playing a new system with this manager. And I turned around and I said to him, look, for me, Celtic and Rangers have dropped off. In 20 years, in the last 20 years, their sides have been weakened and weakened and weakened because they haven't got the money, they haven't got the resources they had 20 years ago. I'm talking about when you had players like Henrik Larsson playing for Celtic and you had players like the Laudrups playing for Rangers. I said the levels have dropped right down over the last 20 years. And I don't think the teams are anywhere near as strong as what they were. I just think they get diluted year on year out. And then he talked about new systems. So I turned around, and I might be too harsh here, Chang, but I turned around and I said to him, look, I said, Martin, his name's Martin. I said, Martin, how long have you been playing football? I'm older than you, so I've probably been playing football longer than you. I said, if I asked you to play fullback, Martin, would you know what you're doing? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, if I asked you to play left midfield, would you know what you're doing? And he said, yeah. He said, the instructions to play in certain positions is quite simple what you've got to do. It's just the patterns of play that you've got to learn and the triangles and the squares that you play and stuff like that. I said, I can't understand why everybody says, yeah, but you're learning a new system. If you're a professional footballer, my eyes say you're a professional footballer for a reason. That means that you're top of your profession. You're a professional footballer. You're top of your profession, regardless of what league you're playing. So therefore, instruction, if you know you've got the basics of being able to play football, then the instruction should be second nature to you. And I keep hearing all this all the time. Yeah, but we're learning systems. We're learning patterns of play. We're learning to play with each other. Sometimes I think we get, I'm personal belief, sometimes think we get lost in it all because a professional footballer, for me, should know if they're playing right back or they're playing left midfield or whatever, should know what they're doing. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts on the professional football as well. As you rightly mentioned, I think some of these formations or even the strategies, as far as game match day is concerned, it is common knowledge that every player in their particular position, they know their primary or rather the basic function, whether it's going forward or tracking back, whether it's helping up in the build-up play or consolidating when it comes to parking the bus and shutting up shop with regards to the match day objectives. And for any player in any particular position, I think it's a given that they all know their jobs, their respective duties with regards to how a team should be set up and how the team moves forward and tracks back according to the ebb and flow of the game. And yeah, for all these professionals, I think that in this modern day, the only tinkering or rather the only proper instruction to be given is things like man marking, whether it's from open play, set pieces, or even on a counter. Things like where certain players should be overlapping or running the channels when pushing forward. I think that also might be something that certain managers or other certain coaches, they have their respective drills as regards to how they want the team to build up play when they push forward. especially when it comes to creating chances in front of goal, be it from long range, from short range, from crosses and whatnot. And finally, I think the last one would be your uh, I would say it's more to do with your positioning, whether you are doing what is known as zonal marking, or sometimes it's even man to man. So yeah, things like this, these are very common. These are, I think, the bread and butter of any footballer. And I think this is where most managers today, they are the ones that actually make the difference. They are the ones who make all the difference when it comes to setting the team up, even the formation, even the substitutions, and how their own players then go about picking up from where their manager has left off for them to go about their duties for the game. And I think this is where I think honestly this is where I think the better managers, that's where they earn the big bucks, and that's why they win trophies and silverware year in year out. And I really do hope that Thomas Frank himself is no stranger to this. Yes, he had one opportunity to win the Super Cup with us, but unfortunately, you saw for yourself there. Even though the players knew what they were told to do, even though they were well drilled, come end of the day, because we were lacking the proper players to rotate, come the dying embers, or rather the dying few minutes to see out the game, that's where we fell short. And this is where I think we would really have to rely heavily upon our defensive drills that is provided. Thomas Frank has that time to work on this during this few days after today's game, before the Liverpool game. Having said that, back to you, Senor Garcia.
You've got. Yeah, let's see what we got here. We got. Jokers, Glenn Murray called him out, and 65 million seems a fun price tag. I think he's talking about Basuma, and we can come back to Basuma in a minute. Queen Ellie says, you were holding onto your crown jewels, Winders, and Jesus popped up with your divine winner. He's great at popping up, that Jesus Christ. Wayne, referring to the same game, says, maybe it's going to come up. Let me have a look. Here it is. Watched the first half last night. If Arsenal passed the ball back to the penalty spot rather than the 6-yard box, they would have been 5-0 up at half time. Ellie says, Kudos is the king dribbler. We have the best baller in the Premiership. Corey says, I did something brave and noble in town yesterday. Rather proud of myself, to be honest. Vinder says, it's all about being consistent. You've done okay considering your squad depth. Let's see if Enoch give Frank some tools to work with in January. Do you know what? I'm going to say this now, Vinders, right? The amount of times that I've been given and led false hope, and we're saying, let's see transfer window. Let's see transfer window. The things that you do normally in a transfer window, or clubs do, which I take to be normal, Tottenham just don't do. And the case in point for me, Vinders, is that the minute the transfer window closes in the summer, so whether it's the 1st or 2nd of September, already then you're starting to work towards your winter programme and your next summer's programme. So you start speaking to agents, to players. It goes on. You start doing that. You get your ducks in your row for when winter comes. And if nothing happens in the winter, your ducks are ready for when the summer comes. We don't seem to have any of that. Every year, season in, season out, there's been a failing. So I'm not hanging on to the January transfer window. I see everything that's been farmed out. Tottenham will make funds available. Tottenham are prepared to go big. I've seen all the comments that people have been putting in there on their accounts, and all these journos are saying this, but it never comes to fruition. So I'm not even thinking about the January transfer window. January the 1st will come. The 31st of January will go. My thoughts are nowhere near the transfer window at all. I'm only looking at what we have on the pitch at the moment, the players that we have available to us, and what we can and can't do with them is what I'm looking at. Queen Ellie says, I want to make a stand against the Paulinho critique. I absolutely love João Paulinho, He's been such an important cog in our wheel and made us a better team. Ellie, I don't know who's criticising Paulinho, but I've seen you in some groups having a go. I think it was a Blaine, my man, Super Spurs team. I think it's Blaine that you were having a go at in one of the groups, and I don't know why. I kind of I got lost. I tried to read some of the comments, and I couldn't understand where it all come from. But I'm sure you do, and I'm sure you can pick up your battle, Ellie, because you're all right at battling with people, so it's fine. Vinda says, I agree, Ellie. He does a lot, and he's under the radar. He should be given more praise. And James says, the last minute FC every year, I don't believe into anything until they hold the shirt up. There we go. James is another one who's been put through the mill. Although he's a lot younger than me, he's had less of the bullshit tried to be sold to him than what I have over the years. But James knows. James as well knows. I'm going to turn my attention, Chang, only because you mentioned this. And I'm going to be brutally honest. I've been so busy doing things. I've not caught up with any of this stuff. But you said that there's a video or something from Bissouma. Is this him doing his balloons or whatever again?
Yes, it is, Jose, and rather depressingly, I think some people just never learn. I mean, if you've really been caught out once, why would you even allow yourself to be filmed doing it again, knowing full well that that film might surface Sunday, and if it does see the light of day, then there's pretty much curtains for him. Yes, he has come up with his sort of justification as to why he did what he did. It was reported in the
So can I take it back? Sorry, Chang, can I take it back a step? So there's a video of him doing balloons again.
Yep.
What is it? In a house, a club? What was it?
I think it was in the confines of his own house.
Okay.
I don't think it was outside of his house, but I could be wrong.
Is he filmed himself or someone filming him?
Someone filmed him. I think somebody filmed him.
Right, and now you're saying that a video has appeared. Sorry, please, I've not seen any of this stuff. So you're saying a video has appeared of him doing this again, and now that he's done a video himself apologising.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm with you now because I've not seen any of this.
So yes, there was a video coming up where he apologized, and he even gave his justification as to why he did it. This actually has something to do with a recent incident in which his home was burglarized. He lost quite a lot in valuables, and this was his way of coping with the recent loss. Although I think whatever you do to cope with whatever personal losses or personal trauma you have, doing balloons or drugs or such like, I think is not the right way to go about it. What's even worse, that he actually allowed himself to be filmed, to be recorded, and now that that video has come, seen the light of day, I think his situation, Bisuma's situation, I think will be a whole lot more. I wouldn't say it's negative. It's worse off than the Salah incident with Liverpool, and Salah himself has been able to bury the hatchet for the time being between him and Arne Slot and the Liverpool hierarchy. Bissouma, however, I think his troubles have only just begun. It would not surprise me one bit if he is the first player out the door in a few weeks' time, as soon as the January transfer window opens up, regardless of whether we have buyers for him or whether he's in agreement to any loan moves. I think he'll be the first player out the door. And if that means freeing up space in our midfield for his long-term replacement, I'm all for it. And it would remain. I mean, it will really surprise me. It would really, really, really surprise me if he has any further part to play for us for the remainder of the season. Having said that, back to you, Sina Garcia.
So when you're saying, Corey's playing. Whilst we're on, Corey's playing at FM still, and he says he's now won the Super Cup with Eastbourne. Seems to have completed my Football Manager this year. Super Cup means that you must have been in Europe or something if you was in the Super Cup. Archer, good morning, sir. Archer's here, says good morning, Jose, Chang and chat. We need to get that clown ballooner out of our club. So when you're saying, right, I haven't seen it, and I'm not going to be judgmental because I haven't seen it. And I can't be judgmental because you're quite right. I don't know what's going through his mind and all that. But this is once bitten, twice shy, so to speak. This is the second time this has occurred. What was his excuse for the first time? Did something happen to him the first time? The other thing is with if his house got burgled, you could have possessions there that are irreplaceable. That's like anybody in life. You could have possessions that are irreplaceable. However, like everybody in life, you also have insurance, which means that you would get the value back. But maybe some items are just, there's no money that can replace them. I've seen some comments. I've not seen any of the videos and that, so Chang, you're enlightening me, but I've seen comments in some of the chats where people are making their own opinions, who have probably seen both the video and the apology, and they're saying that in their opinion, they believe that he's an idiot, he did it a second time, and he's an idiot, and it's probably something that he does in his own time. But it's not a good look because it comes out and it tarnishes Tottenham's name because it's not a good look. But it's something that he probably does more often than not. When you're saying Basuma first out the door, Chang, are you saying that you think he may be released on a free? They might rip up his contract.
Well, if there is a deal to be made, if we can recoup whatever we can get out of him, I think the wise thing to do would be to sell him if there are clubs willing to take him on. However, I think given his history doing this nitrous gas and balloons and whatnot, I think any club wanting to take him on will be taking a risk there, knowing that someone like him, a tiger, can't change its stripes. And in his case, I think this won't be this definitely isn't the first, and it will surprise me one bit if it's not the last, which is why it's going to be difficult to sell him. The other option is to just put him out on loan, so we can free up one space if we do progress far into both the FA Cup, which I think I would just touch on a little bit later on our draw at home against Villa, and if we do go far in the Champions League, assuming that is that we qualify for the knockout stages, I would very much like to have an immediate replacement, a like-for-like immediate replacement, because we have been sorely missing a proper heavyweight in midfield to actually shore up defense. Yes, don't get me wrong. I think both Linia and Bentancur are doing a swell job there. And if called upon, I'm sure Pepe Matassar would gladly step in there as well. But yeah, the sooner this gets resolved, the better. And let's just wait and see how things develop. If there is any sort of movement, first and foremost, with regards to incoming, which is where I'm very sure the likes of Paratici would be fully utilized if and when he's got his list of players out. But yeah, as for me, as far as Bissouma is concerned, I think he's already played his last game for us, and the sooner he's gone, the better, so that we can get his long-term replacement in soonish. Having said that, back to you, FA.
So you've got Vinders again. Vinders has got a lot to say about. It says Frank's doing a lot of chopping and changing. Plus, he's dealing with injuries. Your fan base needs to be patient until he finds his best 11 and then adds competition to that 11. It takes years of heartache. Patience is the key. Saying that, we nearly bottled it last night, Vindaloo says. And then he says, have fun, lads. I've got to go up, big up the chat. But then he says, oh, before I forget, come on, Forest. It wouldn't be Vindaloo without being Vindaloo, would it? Corey says that, yeah, I got to Europe by winning the Carabao Cup when I got to the Championship. I beat Brighton of all teams in the final, nothing like a Sussex derby in the final. Then somehow won the Europa Cup, but the players I managed to get on a free transfer are elite level players. Some of them were being scouted by top clubs. I don't play Football Manager, and all of them were under the age of 21 as well. I used to play Championship Manager, 1999 or 1898 or whatever, really, when it was old and it used to be a disc that you used to put in your computer. Since then, not played it. So I played the original ones, but not played it since. Look who we've got here. We have the champion, Mr. Chris P himself. Says, morning, Jose and Chang. Good morning, Chris. I hope you're well, mate. I hope you're rested. I hope you had a good Saturday. And I hope you're going to have an even better Sunday. Chang, I'm just looking at the fixtures, right? We play Forest today. Then we have 6 days till we play Liverpool on Saturday. So that's a week on the training pitch. Then we don't play Crystal Palace till the 28th. So we have a further 8 days till we play Palace. So that's another 8 days. So for the next 2 weeks, Tottenham have the luxury. I mean, obviously, you've got Christmas in between then as well. So they'll probably get Christmas Day off and that. But you've got 2 full weeks on the training pitch in between games. Then after that, Chang, we play Brentford on the 1st, Sunderland on the 4th, Bournemouth on the 7th, Aston Villa in the FA Cup on the 10th. Then we've got a week's break, again, between the 10th and 17th of January till we play West Ham. So you've got a further week on the training pitch. But then after that, we're going again on the 20th, 3 days later. Burnley on the 24th. Eintracht the 28th. Man City the 1st. Then we have a week's break to Man United. Then we go back to midweek again. So really, when you're playing in 4 competitions, you don't have the breaks that you need. You don't have them. But we seem to be, after today's game, Thomas Frank will get 2 weeks with the players, which would be beneficial. All clubs, it's beneficial when you get whole weeks with the players. And so therefore, it's no surprise to me that teams like Sunderland, because they don't play in 3 competitions, teams like Sunderland they're on the training pitch all week, so to speak. So their manager can instill, and that's why I think that they're so high, in the league table. Who else you got? You got Man United. Man United 7th currently. They play once a week. Everton 8th currently, play once a week. Brighton 9th once a week. Sunderland 10th once a week. Then you've got Tottenham and Newcastle, who play more than once a week. Fulham then play once a week. Bournemouth play once a week. Brentford play once a week. All the other teams seem to play once a week. And the teams that play once a week seem to pick up points and don't have the problems. So, but anyway, that is what it is. Do you want to talk about, because I'm conscious that we've got to take a break before we do our next show. Aston Villa, you wanted to talk about the draw with Aston Villa, the draw in the FA.
Yeah, this is the one thing that sometimes sometimes these draws, when it comes to us, we seem to be piled up against Premier League opposition in the early stages. If memory serves me right, I think we played, was it Villa as well last season, where we lost away on our travels. I think we were dumped out of last season's competition as early as the 3rd round, the first game, and we lost that under Postecoglou. Not that I'm complaining. I think that actually did help us in the long run to build up for our Europa League run, which we then won that competition. But it seems that we are getting Premier League opposition again. The only upside to that is that this time around, we're going to be playing at home. But before that competition does come around, before that 3rd round tie of the FA Cup does come around, I'm really hoping that those 6 and 8 days break from between today to Liverpool the following weekend, and then another 8 days before on the 28th of December. I really do hope that Thomas Frank then works on his team selection for the upcoming fixtures from next year onwards, because I think we're having to play like 3 games or something like that in the space of 7 days. That's going to be very hectic. So this is why I would say that this particular FA Cup 3rd round should be used as a sort of a test bed or a testing ground to get our bench warmers fired and ready for when the business end of the season takes shape, and we will have a better picture rather come next summer, where we're going to be finishing at the end of the table, and if there are any opportunities of silverware on the cards. But it's yet another season, yet another draw in which we line up against yet another Premier League team. So for me, I think the priority would definitely be the domestic league followed by possibly the Champions League if we have an opportunity to go far in the competition. And yeah, for me, I think the FA Cup should be the least of our priorities. And let's just see how this end finishes up, how we end this calendar year on a high, and if there are any further reinforcements in January to see if we can actually compete on all fronts. Although I think that's not practical. Having said that, back to you, Sino Garcia.
Having said everything you said, Chang, I'm quite happy that we've got a home draw in the FA Cup. I am. And it sounds weird because our home form hasn't been exactly the best and the brightest spark for our football all season. But in the FA Cup, I'd much rather have a home fixture. It's a totally different. It's mad. Is it a state of mind? Because it's a different competition. The Premiership is one thing, Champions League's another. FA Cup's different. So is it a state of mind that I think to myself, I'm happier having a home draw in the FA Cup, which I am, regardless of who you get to play against, and obviously we've got Aston Villa. I'm happy with a home draw in the FA Cup. It's early on, so it's the third round. Villa, I don't think they're going to come to us with a full strength 11. I think Villa will make changes, and I just think it's a good option for us to pick up a win and move on into the fourth round. So I, for one, am happy with a home draw against Aston Villa. I don't know whether that makes any sense, but yeah, that's the way I feel. So, but Villa's not till the 10th of January. We have got some games to manoeuvre before then. I think we've probably actually got 4 league games before then. We might have more. One, we've got Forest, Liverpool, Crystal Palace is 3, Brentford 4, Sunderland 5, Bournemouth 6. We've got 6 games to play in the Premiership before we play Aston Villa in the FA Cup on the 10th. Bearing in mind that today is what? The 14th of December? So in less than 4 weeks, so in 27 days, we play Aston Villa in 27 days, right? So in 27 days, we have to manoeuvre 6 Premiership games before we play against Villa. So yeah, Villa for me is on the horizon. It's a month away, but it's 7 games away. So I'm happy, like I said, for them reasons, I'm happy to get the home draw. Today, Chang. Today we play Forest. Are you looking forward to the game?
How about this, Jose? How about this? Just to keep this show and rather the pre-match pump up interesting. I would suggest we maybe preview Forest in an hour's time from now at 12:30. But before we even think about that, I would say that yes, I'm very much looking forward to this away fixture against Forest. It's such a shame, really. It's such a shame that we're not going to be up against Postecoglou, because that's the one thing I was really looking forward to.
Why? Why was he looking forward? Why was he looking forward to it? Why?
I was looking forward to see if Postecoglou has any sort of answer as to how to nullify us, having managed us for 2 years. Much the same way Thomas Frank completely outplayed Brentford last Saturday. And now that we have Sean Dyche, I think Sean Dyche would be a tricky manager to go up against. He has been able to get some victories under his belt for us. Although our away form is still one of the better ones, if not the best in the league at the moment. But make no mistake, I think this is going to be a tough away fixture. Yes, we have had 48 hours rest. We played against Slavia Prague on Tuesday night. Forest played on Thursday night away as well, but they were able to get that win for them, so that would be a positive for them. But yeah, we have 48 hours rest, and Forest themselves have to play 48 hours later. Yeah, no, sorry, 3 days, 72 hours. Forest have to play 3 days later after their Thursday night fixture, so we will have the extra 2 days of rest. But in this domestic league, I think nothing can be taken for granted. I'm absolutely looking forward to the match as well as our pre-match pump up, which starts in an hour from now. And if nothing else, Jose, I would have to take my leave in a minute's time or two, so that I can prepare for the pre-match pump-up as well as the long journey back uh, as soon as we kick off against Forest. Having said that, back to you, Sino Garcia.
Right, I'm going to talk about Forest because this is my show. It was planned well before I got asked to do We Are Tottenham TV. So, what I will say, it's going to be an interesting game today because for me, Nottingham Forest came up to the Premiership and they've now had four managers. They've now had four managers in the space of 3 years. They're a team in transition. Again, we keep talking about this transition, different way of playing. We keep talking about this all the time. But for me, the interesting fact is that Forest, I thought at the beginning of the season they spent money wisely. I thought they bought players in for decent, for money. So someone like McAtee, people were saying that McAtee was going for 40 odd £million and stuff like that. And they ended up getting him for 25 because they waited to right close to the end of the window. People like Amari Hutchinson that they brought in. There's players that they brought in that have not hit the ground running or not been given a chance by either manager that they've had this season. Am I right in saying that Forest have had three managers this season?
Let me see now. I think this is only the second manager, right?
No,
Postecoglou, I'm pretty sure Postecoglou took over.
he took over from Nuno. Postecoglou didn't start the season with Forest, did he? Forest had already played. It was Nuno. Remember, Nuno was talking about the higher ups and stuff like that. And
Yes, correct. Yes.
And they got rid of Nuno, but they were already starting the season when they got rid of Nuno. Then Ange come in, and now they've got Dice. So they've had three managers this season. And all three managers, you would have thought that the players that Forest bought were bought for Nuno, okay? But Nuno didn't play them. Ange hardly played them. And now Sean Dyche is hardly playing them. So where I thought, they spent some shrewd money at the start of the summer on players that they didn't overpay for, or I didn't believe that I'd overpaid for them, all of a sudden, I'm just like, wow, they haven't overpaid for these players, but they've not broken in. They don't play week in, week out. So to me, it's going to be interesting to see what Forest do, what kind of lineup they put out against us, and how they play against us today. Again, for what Chang said, they played 3 days. So we've got 2 days rest over. We played on a Tuesday night in the Champions League. They played. I think they travelled as well, didn't they? Yeah, they travelled. Was it Holland? Yeah, they played Utrecht, didn't they? So they travelled to Holland. Whether it's Holland or not, travel's a travel. So it remains to be seen. But like I always say, Chang, I always look forward to Tottenham playing football, regardless who they're playing against. You could be playing Morecambe, or you could be playing Forest, or you could be playing Slot. It doesn't matter. I just always look forward to my team playing their match. So yeah, I do look forward to today's game. Chang, I know that we're back on in an hour and We Are Tottenham TV, so we're going to wrap this one up. It's only a quick one, guys. So it's only an hour today, if that. So Chang, any final words before we bounce out of here?
Come on, you Spurs! Enjoy the match, everyone. Enjoy the end to the weekend. I really do hope we come out on top against Forest, but let's not take anything for granted. For me, actually, if I were to be completely honest, I would just get a point away on our travels and avoid defeat if possible. That would mean 3 games without defeat since our win against Brentford, or should I say 4? I hope we can make it 4 games without defeat since the 2-2 draw away against Newcastle. I'm not going to give my prediction for this match just yet. If you want my prediction, everybody, you have to contact me on Senor Garcia later in an hour's time over on the Tottenham TV. Having said that, Chang over and out from Southeast Asia. And if you feel like so, please do join me and Senor Garcia in an hour's time over on We Are Tottenham TV. Having said that, Chang over and out from Southeast Asia. Bye, everybody. Come on, you Spurs.
Thank you, everyone, for participating and watching today, and for the comments that you've put in. It's been a pleasure hosting you and having you again on this Sunday. Chang and I will be back next Sunday, where we will be talking Forest. because it's in between. So we'll be talking Forest. We'll also be talking Liverpool next Sunday as well, and any other Tottenham stuff that's happened during the week. So again, thank you very much, everyone. And as always, it's come on, you Spurs. Have a great Sunday, people. Take care. See you later.
Tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions leak, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around, always talking Spurs wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at.